What's a better time than the month of October to take a look at all the Soul Eater games with its Halloween aesthetic? Everyone loves Halloween after all, except that not everyone loves Soul Eater, and that's fine. It's one of my favorite manga and anime, same with Fire Force, because it just understands that style over substance is the most important thing in a shonen, sometimes. Do the games understand that too though? There's only 3 of them if you don't count some card gacha game that only survived for 5 months, and without spoiling too much, that already will set the tone of the video. They also never released outside of Japan, but all of them got fans translations, otherwise I wouldn't be able to do this. Will I go for the extreme low-hanging fruit of saying the title of this game fits perfectly? Yes, I will. It's monotone as possible. More monotone than me if we sat in the same room, and I would not say a single word because I'm too shy. You will sit there in front of your Wii and think, yep, this is exactly what I would think of a low-budget anime licensed game for the Wii. There are a few good ones like the Dragon Ball Revenge of King Piccolo one, which sadly is just a bit too simple, but the majority of them are not good. Now you could say, that's most of the Wii's library, but don't say that unless you want me to curse you. I will. Don't test me by insulting my favorite console please, or I will cry. You can pick one of these 3 teams, Maka and Soul, Death the Kid and the Thompson sisters, or Blackstar with Tsubaki. It doesn't really matter though, at least not with Blackstar and Maka because they are both melee and pretty much play the same. With Kid you obviously got his guns to shoot with from afar, but none of them are really fun. They all have the same control scheme where you just have to press A and boom, that's all you have to do. But you get a second moveset actually. Press A and then waggle around and keep pressing A to do a different move. So you get 2 combos, more than one, so why should I even complain? It totally doesn't get boring to beat the same enemies with the same attacks over and over while having to read way too much in between. At least it has an original story, but you won't be able to enjoy it because you will never get too far into the game. I really wanted to give this game a chance, but in the almost 3 hours I have played, there's only this, the same town, over and over, but sometimes also at night. Wow, does it change? Who knows? I couldn't even find any footage online of anyone playing farther than me. That says everything. I even wanted to continue just out of spite, but lost to a boss and then I had to play the whole stage again. 5 minutes of mindlessly bashing my head against the wall again if I want to get another shot at the boss. If I played on an emulator, fine, I could easily save state it, but I was playing it on an actual Wii, which means I totally had a lot of fun wagging my Wii mode and nunchuck to dodge attacks, yay, or do a simple motion to activate my special attack. In the tutorial for the special attack, they even make you play through all 3 teams for no reason at all, just so they can show you, hey look, we made super not cool looking animations for them. Why do I have to play a tutorial for all 3 teams when it's the same buttons and everything? Time I will never get back. There's not much more to it. You have a level system that does whatever it does. You probably do more damage, but the missions have recommended levels too, so it doesn't even really matter since the enemies also get more energy, so you will just still need the same amount of hits anyways. There's no more skills to unlock or anything like that. Your moveset stays the same, so the game from minute 1 is the game you will most likely get till the end, spamming one single button. Yay. And I mean, I would have even forgiven the game a bit for being simplistic if they didn't make me walk through the same streets. A change of scenery would have helped, a tiny itsy bitsy. At least the game showed me how freaky Jack the Ripper's outfit is. I never really quite realized how his outfit works till this. He only appears in 1 episode anyways, but still. Also, whenever you press the A button to make the next text appear faster, it stops the voice actor's line. Why? I still want to hear them while I read it. I just don't like the text slowly appearing and prefer it all at once because I am a fast reader. This is important to remember since one of the other games does the total opposite. As a fan, you're just better off watching all the cutscenes on YouTube because they are neat. Same with some of the dialogue, except for that it goes on for way too long because they make you go here and then there, just so you can go back here and then over there again. And again and again. It just felt nice to see all the characters again, and it really does feel like the actual manga or anime with how they talk with all of their quirks. Should have just made a visual novel out of it instead of a bad brawler game. But since the Wii was the only low-budget console on the market anymore and was so popular, they had no other choice than to make this. The motion controls are the least problematic things about the game though, even if that sounds weird to say since for most people, those are always the worst about anything. Here you can just dodge into direction if you waggle without pressing A. Waggling with the Wiimote makes you go dodge to right and with the nunchuck you go left. Or maybe you're left-handed so you can just switch it around. Maybe I should have mentioned that earlier when I talked about the controls, but it's fun to mix things up. The four nicest things I can say about the game are the cutscenes, the save screen since it has my wife Blair, yes I'm married to a cat, and that Blackstar does a taunt after every combo you do, which actually is annoying as hell if you play Sim, because you can't stop it so other enemies could hit you doing it, but hey, it just perfectly fits his personality, so they at least gave a bit of a hack when making this game. I'm just a fan of little stuff like that when it's a licensed product, and the opening song is by TM Resonance, the guys behind the first opening in the anime. It can only go uphill from here on, right? I normally hate emulating the S games, please do not tell Nintendo, I still want to be able to see my wife and the kids, even if she may not let me see them for multiple years and reasons now. Since it's a bit in the pain if the game makes lots of use of the touchscreen, so you always have to put the controller down and do something with the mouse and all that. It's a struggle and I hate it. And yes, it's the same here. Hold the gamepad with your left hand because you need to control it with the D-pad and L button to jump, and your right hand stays glued to your mouse to draw funny things on the screen to make your character do things, which sometimes just don't happen. The controls in general are wonky. Right off the bat, I have to complain about the slowest, lamest, snail-paced dialogue I have seen in a very long time. The dialogue itself isn't the issue because it's basically just the show's story, but look at how slow it appears, and you can't skip it. It wouldn't be too much of a problem if the game was going like blah 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 blah, and then you can play the next stage, but instead it goes blah 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 blah, blah 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 blah, and blah 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 blah, and every single time there's more dialogue, you just sit there, falling asleep while waiting for the text to appear. No skip button. Why? You will just groan when you play the tutorial stages because they tell you to do something and then you do it and instantly get interrupted and getting told something else and again and again and again. That's how most tutorials work, but here it keeps stopping every 2 seconds and it makes you think, come on, please let me play it for more than not even 2 seconds at times. You have all three teams again, with the difference being that you have them at all times instead of only allowing you to pick one before a mission after you get through the tutorial stages with them, so you can always switch around depending on who you like the best or who you need because of the special abilities. Blackstar's special thing is being able to use his change to throw them to trees, for example, to pull himself over there, or also pull boxes and enemies to him. There the kid has Beelzebub, his skateboard that he can use to skate around if you don't want to fight or have to travel through a bigger area, but he can also cross things like gaps or quicksand. And then there's Muck and Soul, and the special thingy is being able to break boxes. Yep, only they can do that. Blackstar totally couldn't just do the same. You surely want to know how to do those things, right? By drawing on the touchscreen, or using your mouse because you won't play it on an actual DS. Maka has an upward slash that you do by drawing a line up, or sideways, simple things like that. But for your special attack you have to do it 2 circles, and with that I mean 1 circle but twice. At first I thought you just have to draw circles, like 1 circle and then another one with a stop in the middle, but then on my second try I did 2 circles without letting go, and then it worked. Am I dumb for thinking I had to draw 2 in 1 instead of drawing 2 after each other? You can tell me, I already know the answer. But some abilities also require you to draw a single circle around an enemy or a cross. The cross was the worst one because it throws a shuriken with Blackstar, but there's no lock on, so you have to stand in the perfect line to hit the enemy with it when you draw it, and it's hard to do so. Even worse when sometimes the enemies are standing outside of the screen and you can't even see them. Same goes for Kid. Tapping onto an enemy just shoots a single bullet, while his other moves that you do by drawing back and forth or by doing a cross are hard to hit. Good thing he's the one with a lock-on system. It is the worst lock-on system I have ever seen probably. To lock onto an enemy you have to draw a circle on them. Simple enough. but the second you move, you lose the tracking, so you have to stand still and shoot. It makes no sense. Most of the time there's like 3 or 4 enemies around who will just attack you and break the lock-on with it too. Why am I not allowed to move and shoot? Would it make the game too easy? Why even give me a lock-on feature that I just want to shoot and lock on to people? Isn't that what fun is about? Where's the fun in not being allowed to lock on, because it will just break anyways when you move? After getting used to all teams, you now can switch between them whenever you want in the stage, and they share an HP bar and all that, except for the special meter at the bottom for your special attack. A bit unfair, isn't it? Why share the same HP but not the other stuff? That's just how life is sometimes, I guess. At least it has different locations, yay, so that already makes it a bit less monotone, even though you will just do the same things over and over. It just doesn't really get more demanding really, doing the same things just like how you did the same combos in the Wii game. Instead of also having an original story, it just follows the story of the anime, probably halfway through, because again, I couldn't play more of it and there's no long play of it. Why do people not play these games to the completion? Oh, I wonder why. And I didn't even want to. Dr. Stein disrespected me so hard in his stupid chair that I wanted to give it a retry, and luckily they do allow you to restart right at the boss this time. But first you have to read the text again that just slowly appears again and makes you think, nope, thank you. Even on an emulator with save state, I did not want to continue. Another flop. It's a bit sad because it had potential, but it just feels so restrictive. It has the Blair bath scene in it though, so actually it's the best game ever. It's a bit weird that Mark and Soul don't have to fight against Jack the Ripper in their tutorial stage, since Black Star has to fight against Mifune in theirs, and Kid has to fight against the Mummy, just like in the anime. Was he too freaky for the DS? A fighting game for the PSP and PlayStation 2, and it feels as if the PSP was the lead platform for it, since you just have to look at the save menu to come to that conclusion. Everyone who played on a PSP before knows this look, and while the PlayStation 3 one also pretty much looks the same. A bit sad, I like it when save menus have their own look to them. But the thing that makes you think this even more is, you can't use your analog stick. It just doesn't work at all. The PSP had that tiny little thing as its analog stick, and it makes sense they wouldn't want to use that for a fighting game and only allow you to use the D-pad. But why not allow you to use it on the port on the PlayStation 2? Would it have been too much work? Maybe the game wants to punish casuals like me who don't normally play fighters and forces me to play with the superior D-pad to get me into them. Instead of having its own little story, this one also follows the anime to like halfway through it. Go to school, go have fun with Blair, and so on. But the thing is, the final battle is against Kishin Ashura, but instead of the battle being against him, it's against yourself. And it makes sense, he can use his madness to make you go insane and hallucinate. But it's just the very same you. The first thing you fight in the game in the training, you as a shadow version of yourself. That is just anticlimactic as hell, if I would have played it that far myself. First Soul Eater game that actually had playthroughs on YouTube, probably because it's so short. I could sit here and pretend I know a lot about fighting games, but I don't. I can tell you though that it feels okay, not super duper bad, but it's also not extremely fluid and makes you want to play it. And isn't that what games for fans are about? Triangle is a strong weapon attack. With the O button you can gather energy, so you can power up with L1 and R1. Square is normal attacks, the typical stuff you would expect from a fighting game. There's the adventure mode, where you just play for the retelling of the show, with a bunch of missions like only use triangle attacks or survive 30 seconds and dealing more damage, or just straight up normal battles that are like boss battles to make the story go ahead. A classic arcade mode that is kinda lame. In most games, when they got an arcade mode, you have new dialogue for everyone meeting, making little references to each other and stuff like that. Here, you don't have that. You just get a random opponent and then fight after saying what you always say at the start of a battle. It takes out the magic of an arcade mode, for me. Even in Smash, the classic mode always tries to reference things in the respective franchise, so why couldn't they have like put in like 2 lines of dialogue for each character meeting for the first time or whatever? Why can't Blair say something to, Dr. Stein? Why not? One cool thing is that you unlock voice lines that you can use and they activate during your special attacks, but the sound quality of them is like, what the frick is going on here? I don't think this is an emulation issue, they just sound that low quality.
お前は私が獄門自我にスクリーチャーアルファ
You can also unlock gallery stuff, which is just a bunch of screenshots from the actual episodes. I really enjoy looking at screenshots of an anime in a fairly low quality. I really could not imagine anything cooler to unlock. Not like there's any cool concept art anyway, since everything in the game is just straight up from the show. Nothing new. No OCs, no new backgrounds. As a fan, you will know everything the game shows you. Can't talk about unlockables without talking about unlockable characters. And well, let's just say that some of them are normal, like beating the arcade mode once, you can get free, which is cool. He's a cool character. But who the heck would want Oxford? Why not Iruka when you already got an oversized tadpole, which you can't play by the way, and it's only here as a boss? Or any of the other cool characters. You got so many to pick from, and you picked the comedy relief character that looks ugly as hell. You already got Excalibur, and he's cool at least, even though he's the most annoying anime character of all time almost, but at least he's in a funny way. Like Excalibur, I love you, I would go to California with you, and I could unlock him here though, because you have to beat the adventure mode, then replay it and do every single mission, and then beat him 5 times to unlock him, and I'm not gonna play for the stupid adventure mode just for you. But it is in character.
I'm looking for him. I'm going to California. Excalibur.
Or Shinigami himself. Only have to beat the adventure mode with all 3 main characters and also the arcade mode with everyone. That sure makes people want to unlock him normally and not just want to cheat, which don't exist. I looked for them, but you need some codebreaker stuff that I was too lazy to set up just to be able to show off more characters. Who needs them anyways when you got Blair? There were tons of soulless, rehashed, low-budget fighting games. Just look at some of the Bleach games, where even nowadays there's so many trashy arena fighters attached to popular anime that it makes you think, hey, we kinda deserve better, don't we? Why does it always have to be fighting games? Oh yeah, because the characters fight. I'm really not a big fan of Boku no Hero, but imagine a game like Spider-Man 2 on the GameCube with a skin of it, doing superhero stuff in an open world. Wouldn't that be fun? It doesn't even need to be a great game, even a decent one would be a good start. Obviously it's also because of the high development cost nowadays for games. Back then you could just plaster a game together on a shoestring budget and probably still make a profit from it. Who am I kidding? They still do the same basically nowadays anyways. I played the first Fairy Tail JRPG and was like, damn, this is the most 5 out of 10 JRPG I've played in a long time and I love it. Even if I'm not even too much into Fairy Tail, it at least tries to make fans of the franchise satisfied by not just being a lame fighter, but tells the story through a fairly generic JRPG that knows what it is. That's what I would love to see more of, especially nowadays. Back then anime was less mainstream, now it's way more mainstream. The games still suck ass though. Cheap cash grabs just made to hope that at least fans will buy it because they want to own every piece of merchandise. In the end, all I can say is that Soul Eater deserved better. You could say the same about the anime, but I have to say that I'm one of those that think the manga ending isn't that much better. It is better, but it could be even better. That goes for most things in life though. One day maybe we will get a new version of it. Hope always dies last. At least the Fire Force adaptation is amazing, and I would recommend it to anyone, especially since season 3 is gonna have one of the best fights in a manga ever. With that said, I hope you enjoyed the video and will have a good day, a good night or a good whatever fits your time zone. I will now go and rewatch Soul Eater or reread it. Maybe I won't, who knows, except for me, I will know, but you won't know. Maybe you should also read it though, or watch it. Just keep away from the games. Bye bye.